on the road headed back from Houston, Texas.
There you go.
With 3 new degrees and a heck of a good time at the Holland Lodge Festival.
Good. Good.
Hello, everybody.
I am a learned man.
There you have it.
How far away is is Goliad from Port Aransas?
From Port A, it's only about an hour and 30 minutes, I guess. It may be a little bit longer than that, but that's only because it's a roundabout way to get to Port Aransas. You go across the ferry to Rockport, and then you go from Rockport towards Goliad, and it really isn't that difficult of a drive.
There's a golden trowel down there on the 2nd of November, somewhere around in there.
Right.
I think it's the second, and I'm going to be down there, and thought I might try and sneak up there and check out that lodge. And
yeah, come on up, man. It'll be worth your while, and I'll meet with you, and we can talk about it, and I can tell you kind of the history of it and all the progress we made over the past 10 years, for sure. That's one of my favorite things to do is brag on that lodge.
yeah.
Hey, I'm going to jump over to the YouTube side, but we'll be listening to y'all from there.
All right,
Love
man.
you,
Have a good one. It's good seeing
Love
you.
you, brother.
Me too. I love you too. Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live. Yep.
Why aren't we talking about anything?
We've been talking. What are you talking about?
Man, I got on at 8:58 and nobody was talking about anything. Hello, friends and brothers. Welcome to Masonic Improvement. I am your co-host, Dennis Yates, the latest and greatest. We have matching hats. Didn't even plan it.
The Yatest.
My co-host, the mouth of the Midwest.
The pest of the Midwest.
The herald of Hillsboro, Justin Jones, and all of our favorite people of our inner circle here on it live with you.
I think it's funny people still
Beautiful
associate
Sunday
me
evening.
with Hillsboro. I haven't
Do
been
what?
a member. I think it's funny people still associate me with Hillsboro because I haven't been a member there in like 2 years. But I still get that. I still get that everywhere I go. Probably because that Herald of Hillsboro, the Herald of Hillsboro that was going around for a while.
Right. Yeah, it's about time to make some new cases too.
Mm.
Hey, brother Calder.
I'm the goober of Grandview now.
Yeah.
So
I'm
what are
the
y'all?
ruffian of Roy City.
The ruffian.
Nice.
The Roy
Nice.
City Ruffian. It's got a nice ring to it.
I'm trying to think of what I can say about Oso. I can't come up with something. That's bad. I'm usually sharper than this. I'm a little bit tired. Yesterday morning we did those 3 Scarlet Cord degrees, and then last night we had the festiboard at the Holland Lodge festiboard at the Arabia Shrine Center, and that's always a good time. And then today all day, I must have walked 100,000 stairs at the water park with the girls. It has been a full weekend.
You didn't get stuck in the slide this time, did you?
No. It's funny though. There's a couple of times that I was trying to race Sarah going down these slides, and man, I tried to, pull myself down like young people do, and that didn't work. I just hit my ass and squatted right there and just sat there.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt. and I had to pretend it didn't.
Yeah, we went.
But man, it was a. Go ahead.
We went. I guess it was July for my daughter's birthday, to one in Mansfield, and I don't remember like the slides. They had those segments, right? And every time I would go through one of those segments, it would catch my butt. Like it would like tug on my shorts. It's like I don't remember this being a problem. I must have been like 100 pounds lighter or something back then.
Right. There was a one of them that had these ripples in the middle, and it's like, what the heck is this for? It just hurt because my butt just went. It's like, you hit those little ripples before you hit a stop sign.
Yeah.
Except it was in the middle of this water slide. Why would they do that? It just hurt.
Daniel recommended the Outlaw of Oso. The Oso Outlaw.
Oh, the Oso Outlaw. Yes. Nice.
That works. The Oso
That's
Outlaw.
What it'll be. Yes. So last night we had all my favorite people there, and Robert Park was there, Carlton Newberry, Brad Billings, Justin Dewey, Dave Kim, Chris Ryland, Khadeen was there. Did I say that right? Khadeen? Where'd you go?
Oh, he dipped on us.
Man,
what a quitter.
They're working on that. Instead of saying it like everybody else, it's not Khadeen. It's Khadeen.
Khadeen.
It's like you got something stuck in your throat. It's Khadeen. So I'm trying real hard to say it right, so that just to show that I love it by saying it right. But I mean, there were just all kinds of my favorite people there. Kevin Klingman was there. Then brothers from just all over the state came in for it.
I guess something included in his favorite brother.
Roberto Sanchez was there. Oh yeah, and the worshipful master of Goliad himself, Josh Kovar, was there.
Oh,
along with Roy Burris.
Cool.
Yeah, but they didn't even acknowledge me a whole lot. They came and said hi a little bit at first, and then they were too busy being socialites.
Wow.
Sir, I believe that's the other way around there, sir.
Can't help it, man.
Well, you did sit at the same table. I mean, come on.
Right. But it was a great time, and if y'all didn't enjoy that, then you just don't enjoy Masonry.
Speaking of events, Coach Stewart pointed out in chat that we have less than 2 weeks until the big event at Royce City 663.
Yes. In fact, I've got an email that I got halfway done that I'm going to send everybody, and it has the first part of my presentation in it. I am going to. I'm doing half of this presentation to prepare everybody, and then the second half is going to be that walking lecture that I'm doing.
Very cool.
And then, so I'm going to send the first half to you, because the walking lecture, you'll just see the points that I'm going to touch on. So you might, come up with some thoughts on your own if y'all want to discuss it or whatever while in the middle of it, because it's really a discussion type thing. I ask people questions as I go on what they feel about certain things.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to send that to y'all so that everybody can kind of get the feel for the idea of the internal and the external, and make sure that all of our stuff aligns with it.
Brad, since just for anyone listening that might be interested, do you know offhand, or can you tell us offhand, just, and I know I've had you do this before, but just humor me, please. Who all speaking, and what what other presentation is going to be over?
You want me to do it?
Either one. Either one.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the Cody Stewart is going to kick us off with some catechism and a little bit of shuffle work on the floor with on the committee on work. But really, it's not going to be the committee on work doing this. This is Cody Stewart picking out his favorite things to talk about when it comes to catechism.
That'll be awesome.
And that's important because it's I really want Cody to put his heart and soul into it, and go off script if he can to drive home some points that he doesn't usually get to touch on. And then you would come in, and then Brad will also help with that and speak with that as well. And then you will come in, Justin, and speak on rites of passage.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of that, and that's basically what's happening as we're doing these rituals, and why it's so important in today's society that we have rites of passage. And then David Rogers will come in and start taking a spiritual look into it with scripture and stuff like that. David Rogers doing David Rogers stuff.
Yes.
I mean, he's just a rock solid badass when it comes to the Bible. He's a Bible badass, and so we're gonna put him to work on the good stuff there, and then I'm gonna come in after that and talk about my discussion is called the Initiate's Journey, and it'll talk about how there's a preparation section, an initiation section, and then a reflection section. And during the reflection section, we're going to do that walking lecture and talk about a few points to ponder that most people never thought about ever while they were sitting there during the degree. And hopefully it'll make people start thinking about stuff like that when they're doing the degree, instead of just thinking about the words and mouthing the words as if that's what's important. They'll start sitting on the sidelines, just picturing that degree in their mind and thinking about this stuff. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. Now, Robert Park is got just an awesome presentation that he's getting together, and it's basically showing how the internal affects the external in a broader sense in membership. Thanks to Zachary Haston, we have new data on the effects that occurred during during all the trials and tribulations of last year, and he has the data. He has the data that shows that our actual numbers were stifled during that period, and that they're starting to come back. Mm-hmm. But during that period of depression within our own body, our numbers showed it. So Zach's going to share that with we were talking about it yesterday, and I've asked him to share that with Robert, and he did talk a little bit about it with Robert, and Robert was blown away and wanted to use it immediately. And so Robert's going to take that information and then put it along with some other stuff to express how our internal really does affect our external in our own world as Masons, and then externally as well, externally even further. So it's really going full circle as to everything that we're involved in as Masons that make us Masons, and how that internal and external is the most important things that we should be focused on at all times.
Cody Stewart asks, what degree are you talking about for your walking lecture?
Mine will be touching on the EA only.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's not a lecture in lecture form like people think, associate with the Fellowcraft walking lecture. It's not that. What it is it is me challenging people with questions as I go through the different points of that initiation up to the point of obligation.
It's gonna be awesome, man.
And I could go a little further, but it will really take a lot more time. And what I really want to drive home is that getting to that point of the obligation. And I think that everyone's going to be really, really pleased with that, and they're going to love, what they're going to be able to take away and share with other people. I think, because that's what I want from all of us. I'm hoping, and I know this is what Brad is hoping, is that everyone will take this and take it to their lodges and really, help their own lodges to do better and to think about the stuff that we're doing a little bit more as they're doing it.
What I really like about this is Texas Freemasons has demonstrated through for example, like the summit we held last year, events like Masonic, they have demonstrated that they're willing to buy tickets and pay money to go to events like this. This is not a ticketed event. This is a free event. And so that's what I'm trying to drive home here is look at the speakers. Look at the content that's going to be delivered, and it's all free to brothers, right? And so this is if you've ever wanted to like attend something and either haven't been able to or just like financially didn't work out, this is free. This is going to be awesome. And so there's that takes any excuse out of it except from like work, right? But you have 2 weeks to plan a day off if you have to. Longer if you've been listening to us longer. And so
Robert Park and I are driving up from South Texas to do this for brothers that we may never see for another 5 or 10 years even.
Yep.
So that's not likely. We'll probably see them a lot more than that. But technically, it could be that, we're seeing brothers that we haven't done a presentation for before. We're not doing it for any monetary gain. We're just trying to help brothers, as you're saying, Justin, and we're just trying to get the thought pattern back to the benefit of the lodge.
Yep. It's going to be awesome.
And if we can drive up there and do that as much as we're running around, and then other people can make a little effort to get there too. And as Brad said, we've got 30 people that are showing up for sure, and then we've got another 40 or 50 that are interested.
Wow.
Yeah. So this could be a very big deal, and it really should be. It's in the right place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
one more thing to point out, right, is it's EA, Fellowcraft, and Master Masons this is open to now, right? Not just Master Masons.
Right.
Correct.
Nice.
It's open to anybody who cares about their experience in Freemasonry. That's the bottom line. That's what this is all about.
So if you're like Dennis said, they're driving. How far did you say you're driving? How long? 6 hours?
Yeah, I drive 6 hours. He'll be driving about 5.
Yeah.
Well, I'll drive mine is actually 7 hours, and he'll be driving about 5.
So if you don't complain about not finding value, if you're not willing to make what's the saying, right? Book time and road time. Those are the two things that really get you the most value out of your Freemasonry, right? And so
absolutely right.
This is a good opportunity to put some road time in to take advantage of some brothers who have put in some book time and road time.
Right.
And some of them at the same time.
Yeah, Dennis.
Well, you got to do something when you're traveling as much as I do. You don't get to read books unless you do it while you're driving.
There you go.
And the books I read, I just can't find on audio, through YouTube or anything else. So it's just not. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Understood, man. There's only so many good esoteric books on YouTube.
Yeah, it's fun how this whole thing kind of came together. Really, I really just kind of started out as just wanting you, Justin and Dennis, to come speak, and then it was like, well, maybe it's just Justin. We'll get Justin to come out once, and I'll get Dennis to come out once, and then it was like, well, we get both of them together with Brother Robert Park, and then I was like, well, maybe I could get Cody Stewart along too. And I invited David Rogers, and then I was like, "Oh, by the way, David, while you're there, can you mind speaking on this?" And he goes, "Sounds like fun." So, yeah, it was great.
Yes, and that's the beauty of brotherly love and affection right there, because every one of us care and love each other, and we all love Freemasonry, and so. That's the beauty of the connections that are made within Freemasonry through brotherly love and affection, because stuff like this happens. It's the exponential factor that happens whenever a good, wholesome thing is done for the benefit of the brotherhood.
Yeah. It's gonna. The best events kind of spring up spontaneously like that, in my experience. It's just, hey, let's get this guy. Well, what about this guy too? What about this guy? Hey, I wanna say something. And so yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. It's gonna be great.
And this next weekend, we have the Lexington degree on the master's degree on the Lexington, and it's going to be very cool because the Most Worshipful Grand Master is going to confer the degree like he did back in 2018 when he was Grand Master last time. And, we forget that these guys are sharp when it comes to the work, and they can actually do this stuff. When they're asking you to do better, they're already doing better. In fact, the Most Worshipful Grandmaster Tommy last night told everybody, he said, look, we need to be striving for excellence. And if we get good or great, then we're doing better than we are today. So, we should always be striving for excellence. And if we strive for that and hit right here, that's not such a bad thing.
Yeah.
We're still in a positive direction.
Because if you strive for right here, you're gonna hit lower. So you should always always try the best. Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Just keep trying to raise that bar. I agree.
And so he backs it up by proving it, and he's going to be doing it this weekend on the Lexington.
And what date is that?
That is on the 7th, September 7th. It's next Saturday, and that's at 7 p.m. The dinner, the Grandmaster's dinner, is already sold out. There was only 50 tickets, and they sold out last week. So there's not any more available. However, there's plenty of seating for the degree itself, and I won't be eating dinner at the banquet either. I'll be busy trying to get things ready, last minute, making sure everything is ready to go before the degree starts.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to have myself and Brad Billings will be staying, and Brad Hoff will be staying at the DoubleTree Hilton right there on next to the Lexington. And
they let us back.
Yeah, right. Well, hell, they had to. We spent too much money with them.
I guess so.
Everybody likes it when we show up. I say Masonic improvement, and they say, "Oh, hell yeah!" Those guys like to waste money. But anyways, we'll be staying there, and then after the event, anybody that wants to come over to the bar and hang out and have a drink and talk Freemasonry, that's what I do whenever I'm at one of these big events. So I always set up shop and we just talk Freemasonry until everybody gets too tired to talk anymore, and then we go to our rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a good time. No matter what, it's going to be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and not only is Grandmaster conferring, but he's going to be doing it with the Knights of Mecca, and so they'll be in full costume and all that kind of stuff. So it's really a good event. It's fun. I really enjoy it.
Speaking of the Knights of Mecca, they're also going to be conferring a master's degree at my lodge on the 12th. And so if you're in the area, maybe you've got a hotel or something, and you're heading around there, getting ready to go to Royce City in a few days, come to Grandview, right off 35, and see the Knights of Mecca confer a master's. Just in case maybe if you couldn't make it to Lexington, or you just want to see it again, come. It's going to be awesome.
What time's that degree on the 12th?
Dinner will be at 6, and then the degree will be 7.
And if anybody wants to, consider how good the Knights of Mecca is, I mean, just think of the fact that our brother Cody Stewart, Right Worshipful Cody Stewart, is the Committee on Work member and a member of the Knights of Mecca. And he was a member of the Knights of Mecca for years before he became a Committee on Work member. Mm-hmm. So he's the way that he strives for excellence, every one of them do. That's where he pretty much got his what is that, work ethic, I would say. I wouldn't say that's where he got it, but it's probably where he honed it in, because they strive for excellence. And Brad Hoff is a member of the Knights of Mecca as well.
Nice, man. I would go as far as to say they're the gold standard. Yeah. They're the gold standard for ritual excellence. I mean, I've never been to one of the degrees where it's not just like perfect almost. That's what you should see at a degree. If I get my words right.
Yes. If you want to see the way Texas Masonry is supposed to be done, go watch the Knights of Mecca. And if you're in South Texas, that's what you should be doing is going down to that degree. However, I'm going to say, if you're north of San Antonio, and I hate these splits, I hate trying to break things up like this, there's going to be a candidate forum in Seguin on the same day. So Robert Park and let's see, Chip Green and Keith Reynolds, and I don't think that Wilkerson ever did jump in. I thought he did, but he didn't. So I think those are the only three, but they'll be there. And I think maybe the Right Worshipful Underwood, I think he might be there, but I know Brad Billings won't, because he's going to be at the Lexington, because that's a big event that's happened. That's traditionally for years and years, and so he didn't want to miss that. So, and I love him for making that decision. But if you're north of San Antonio, you should go down to that candidate forum. But speaking of, on the 23rd of October, there's going to be the big 64-14, 1464, however you want to say it, MWSA candidate forum in Arlington, and it's going to be broadcast live for everyone to see. So everyone needs to be paying attention on that night to the candidate forum that they're going to have.
And what day you say again?
October 23rd.
October 23rd.
I'm going to be on my way to Washington State to give my presentations up there, but I fully intend to stop there before I go up to Washington. I will probably fly out of DFW just so I can I can go to that forum. So we're gonna see how we can make this all work as far as I'm concerned. But I do know that there's going to be at least two different broadcasts going on, so that if one feed gets cut, there will be a secondary to make sure that it continues to go, because it was authorized by Grand Lodge and it needs to happen for transparency,
Yep.
for the benefit of Texas Masonry.
Yep. How do you vote on people you don't know anything about? I agree.
Exactly.
What are they going to be live streaming through? Like
Do what?
What are they going to live stream through?
I think they're going to do it through Facebook, so it'll probably be on Texas Masons, and also on the Grand Lodge Facebook
That makes sense.
feed.
That makes sense. That's exciting, honestly, to see kind of us transitioning towards that.
It's about time, right?
It's past time, man. Like
It
last year,
really-
we tried for it. We pushed for it. There was a lot of resistance, and so I'm glad to see that either that resistance is gone, or they just kind of realize, hey, we kind of have to stop. We have to step into the modern age.
Zachary Haston is one of my heroes, and he just simply. Are you still there? Because I accidentally.
I'm here. Yeah, we're all
Okay, I
here.
didn't know, because I went to a different feed. I was looking at something else. Zach just texted me a few minutes ago. I hadn't had a chance. If you're watching, I hadn't had a chance to look yet, Zach. I'm driving and talking, but he is one of my heroes, and he just put the question out there. He said, "Look, based on the laws, why are we not allowed to do this? We've already set precedent for having these forums. We've already set precedent that we could use digital streaming responsibly. Why are we not allowed to do this?" And that's all he did, was ask why. Why not? And it went through civil law and jurisprudence, and the Grandmaster said, "Yeah, why not? Let's do it." So that's good on Zach. I love you for it. I love you for a lot of things, but that's one of them. And I appreciate you doing that. And that there can't be enough said as to him just being persistent and making this happen for the good of Texas Masonry.
Yeah. It's
Sorry, I'm kind of hogging the data stream, huh?
No, it's all good. No, you're right. No, Zach's fantastic, man. He's a lot of people don't think data is very sexy, but I love data, right? And he uses it to not just to inform, but for the betterment. It's like a non-bias, like you're saying. Like there's nothing in here that says we can't do this. Why do we not do this kind of thing? It's just factual.
Right.
Just facts. Just here's the
that's-
data.
and
Here's the
that's the way
facts.
Yeah, and that's what he's trying to do in everything he does. His data is he's not trying to manipulate things unless he's looking for a specific answer. That's the only time he affects data to find out what that answer is. But typically he's just straight up pulling data to see what a certain thing is between a certain time. There's been times when he's had every Mason in Texas, in that data pool to find out, was like what's happening with membership and things like that.
I mean, if anyone wants to complain about someone having access to their data, this is how companies make decisions. This is how large multi-million-dollar companies make decisions. They look at data and inform their policies and their practices. And Texas is we're huge. We're a big organization. And if we're not looking at...
We are the second largest in the United States.
What's the biggest? California?
I think so. But we are the second largest grand jurisdiction in the United States.
That makes sense.
And it may be the second largest in the world. I think it's just the second largest in the United States.
I see. But if we're not looking at information and data to see it's just like setting goals and stuff for your lodge. If you're not looking at data to see if you're reaching your goal or if this is actually an effective way of accomplishing your goals, you're just doing stuff just to do stuff. And it's the same thing with the state level. Like Dennis said, we're the second largest Grand Lodge in the United States. If we're not analyzing data and looking at it and looking for trends and seeing what's happening, then we're just hoping for the best and not knowing what's working best. We may be doing things that are catastrophic to the well-being of the fraternity and not know it because we're not looking at what it's doing to our data, such as like the data we were talking about earlier.
So many different states and grand jurisdictions look to us at what we're doing for guidance for themselves. I can tell you right now, with what happened this past January, there are other Grand Lodges at this very moment concerned about their own Grand Lodge coming up because we have said it's okay to make sure that the Grand West has their voice. Mm-hmm. And so there's other Grand Lodges that are looking at the same things happening in their grand jurisdictions because we set the precedent. And so the things that we do are important, and we need to make sure we're doing it based off of facts and not just feelings.
And if there was any doubt, it's your Freemasonry. It's your call.
Oh, yeah.
It's your right. And they could tell you it's not. They're wrong. It's your Freemasonry. It's your organization. It's your right. Stand up for it, man.
Absolutely. You know, part of what y'all are going to see in 2 weeks is the I'm going to show how the freedom of thought, the freedom of speech, and the freedom of religion is just dead on in your face in our ritual, and why we need to be focused on that in everything that we do. And having that in our ritual and it being such an integral part of Freemasonry, the Grand West needs to make sure that they represent that in everything they do. If you are trying to decide, am I going to do this or am I going to do that? The three things that you need to be thinking about first and foremost is it affecting my freedom of speech, my freedom of thought, or my freedom of religion? Then I need to fight for that. Because if it's going to oppress any of those things, then that's oppressing my Freemason.
We must have summoned Brother Haston because I clicked over and he's been in chat. And so he says...
Yes.
So Cody says top 3 states are Pennsylvania, Texas, and then California. And then Zachary comes in and says Pennsylvania has 88,000 and Ohio has just 4,000 more than us. We're number 3.
Wow.
It's surprising. It's hard to believe Pennsylvania and Ohio have so much more than us. But yeah.
Right. Well,
California is under 40,000.
But think about their dense population. I mean, they've got a lot packed into that.
Pennsylvania?
Into that area. It's not widespread like we are.
Yeah. I could see that. It's because they have tuxedos. It's the tuxedos.
Yeah, and Philadelphia is where it's at, my man.
Philly cheesesteaks.
That's awesome that Zach came on and he had the numbers. That's awesome. See, that's the beauty of data. We know now. So now you're educated.
If anyone really wants to know, there's a secret. There's a little trick. If you're at your lodge or any Masonic conversation, if you need Masonic data, if you stand in front of a mirror and repeat Zachary Haston 3 times in the dark, he will appear with the information.
The light. Yeah. He'll be there. No, have the light on, say it 3 times, turn off the light, and then you'll see him in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you write it backwards on the mirror, it only takes once, though.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes, that's awesome.
Very the hill.
But yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, brothers, there's another thing that's heavy on my mind, and that is, speaking of, this is your Freemasonry. It's not just what Grand Lodge wants our Freemasonry to be. Grand Lodge is basically a reflection of what we want our Freemasonry to be, or it should be, right? And all the Grand Lodge members should feel that way. And I think that right now we have that going for us in the Grand Line. And I think that with the addition of our next Grand Junior Warden, who I believe will be voted in, I'm not going to say names, but it's going to really strengthen that forward progress in all the things that we've been talking about, and they're in it.
They're in it. What happened? I lost you.
Locked up.
You locked up on us. You locked up. You said they're in it, and then you lost you for a second.
They're in it to do the will of what the brothers want, and to fix stuff, and not just go up there and take titles and serve their time and wave their hand and say, look what I did, here's my pen and coin. So with that being said, you need to get to Grand Lodge and make that a priority. You need to get to Grand Lodge and make sure that you are well represented by your Grand Lodge officers.
Yeah. And I think that's really important, because we had a huge turnout in January because people were upset. And I think a lot of people, probably rightfully so, we all left Waco feeling like we accomplished our goal, right? Just because it's been a good and productive year and we haven't heard much like we did last year, does not mean that there are people, well, most people, and it doesn't mean that there are not still people working with the same goals they had last year, right? And so my point I'm getting to is we need the same turnout this year. We need the same turnout we should always have this kind of turnout. But if we rest on our laurels and assume that because we made our opinions known in January, that everything will continue down this nice peaceful trail that we've been walking down, that's not the case. That's not the case. There are factors at work that are not benevolent to the fraternity, solely seeking for the individual, not the fraternity, and they will show themselves again. And if we are not there in force with the same mentality that we came in January, that we're not going to take any kind of BS, like we know what we want, we're going to go with what we want, then we could potentially see very unfortunate things come. So be ready. Absolutely. And be vigilant.
Because there are people that are very upset about what happened to what they know as Freemasonry, right? Or what they knew as Freemasonry. There are people that are very upset with that. And they want to take it back. And that's a fact.
Yep.
Those are facts. I know that.
This is not fear mongering or speculation. This is what will happen if we do not step up again.
Yes. So we need to be there. And here's my thing. Now I could care less. Well, I care because I know what each person stands for. That's making themselves available, and I know what each person stands for that may be nominated from the floor. And I will say that again. I know what each person stands for that may be that have made themselves available, and I know what each person stands for that may be nominated from the floor. May. Probably.
And maybe not the positions you think.
Maybe, yeah. and I know what they stand for, and we have to make sure we're there. I know what I stand for, and I have to make sure I'm there to vote. And everyone else needs to make sure they're there to vote so that democracy will prevail.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't show up, democracy will fail.
Yeah.
And that's the important factor.
Yeah.
That's the important factor.
And I think that they're banking on us not showing up like we did this year. They're banking on us not showing up like we did in January. We need to all be there. We need to fill that place up. Because if you enjoy the shenanigans, like if you're just one of those kind of people that likes to watch the world burn and sit back and watch, like this is a mess, you'll have fun.
Yeah, you'll have fun if everything changes. If it doesn't change and we keep going forward like we should be,
mm-hmm.
then we. And here's the thing. And speaking of change, this is what the previous Grand Masters believe. They believe that, and these are statements that I've heard, and so consider them hearsay. But they truly believe that we want to come in and change things, but we're not looking to change the tenets of Freemasonry. We're not looking at changing anything except for giving lodges the opportunity to love their Freemasonry again,
mm-hmm.
to find the joy in going to lodge and doing more than just paying bills. So it's amazing to me how they could think that we're looking to change for change's sake. Things that make Freemasonry what it is.
I mean, but
we're not going to do that.
That has not proven to be the case either. They're assuming that's what we want to do, but we have not.
There's not one. Yeah, there's not one bit of evidence that we're doing anything like that.
Yeah.
The only thing that's been different, other than the only thing that's been different is Resolution 9 allowing us to drink alcohol at the lodge. And how irresponsible has that been? I haven't heard of one negative instance since that's happened.
It has not been as catastrophic as we were told it would be by the fearmongers.
Right. Hell, half of the lodges still don't do it, but it's not because they don't allow it. It's just because they haven't found a reason to yet.
Yeah.
When they want to, they can. But hell, it's not like they felt like they needed to.
Yeah. And if they don't feel like they need to, that's fine. It's just an option for lodges that do.
Exactly. It's kind of like Goliad. We voted to allow it.
Mm-hmm.
We did. We voted to allow it. And it hasn't been overturned or anything like that because we haven't had a need to drink. We have the option if we want to,
mm-hmm.
but we hadn't made a big deal out of it and gone and thrown a party or anything at the lodge.
Yeah. Yeah. And to play devil's advocate, even if Texas did show up in force and vote for new leadership because they wanted dramatic things to change, that's the will of the West.
Yes.
So I know it comes down to egos, right? And Freemasonry, we're supposed to kill that ego, but sometimes people get really far without really practicing Freemasonry, and it's to the detriment of our fraternity. And I said in January, like we accomplished our goal, and let's enjoy our year and not really focus so much on Grand Lodge and dark times to come, but it's getting about the time again, and we're probably going to start talking about it. I know we're going to start talking about it more and more. We enjoyed our Masonic year, and it was a beautiful, wonderful, enjoyable Masonic year, and I look forward to many more to come. as long as we stand vigilant against the hordes of Mordor, it don't allow the darkness to creep back into our lives.
Yep. I want to state right now. This is going to be a formal invitation to anybody that's making themselves available. If they want to come on the show, let us know.
Yeah.
And they can come on the show, and we will not talk about other people. We will not talk about anything that could get anybody in trouble. We just want to hear your story, what you think about Masonry, if it meets your expectations, and if it doesn't, what would you have liked to seen different when you were made a Mason? Just like we've asked 100 people before, all of our different guests, we've asked the same questions.
Yeah.
We're going to ask the same things of whoever is making themselves available. So here is the formal invitation to all those interested. If you're not listening, that's not our fault. But here's the formal invitation to everybody listening out there that if you have made yourself available, you are welcome to come on our show. We would like to hear and learn about who you are. And I think there's nothing more fair than that.
Yeah. Completely
that goes
non-biased.
out to everybody. Yes.
No bias at all. Come. We'll all of us will meet as equals, and we will discuss. I'm even fine with sending the questions ahead of time, like we usually do with guests. Me personally.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
And you know exactly what we're going to ask, and if we don't want to veer off, we don't veer off. Just completely non-biased, just the facts. Whatever you want to share, cut, and no editing. I won't even edit it. I'll just upload it.
Oh yeah. And if we got some spies out there that are just trying to find dirt on us to tell the other people, make sure and tell them that there's an opportunity for them to come on the show. I'm giving them that opportunity right now to come on the show, because I guarantee you there are some people that are available that do watch our show, and they will come on. I guarantee you they will.
Yeah.
Because they see the value in what transparency can give.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, this is everybody's opportunity, but so you better tell your people if you're on the show watching us so that you can report, then you need to report, because I can guarantee you there's going to be people taking advantage of it. Spread
the word. And don't complain if someone that is running against you ends up on our show, because we have publicly on live broadcast made the announcement. You're welcome to just let us know, and we'll bring you on.
We'll make it a worldwide wrestling thing. I'm calling you out, brother. I'm calling you out.
What was it? The cream rises to the top. Who was that? Macho Man. Yeah.
Oh man, yes. That's so funny. And I always liked Ric Flair. Woo!
Oh yeah.
That would be me. I have to say, I would probably be Ric Flair. Except he was from California, I think. That would be the only downfall. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan, man, he was cool. And Rowdy Piper, man, I miss those guys.
There's some interesting stories out there about Andre the Giant, some of his shenanigans. So yeah, they were a different breed back then.
Dude, there were shenanigans with all of them. I can assure you. The Von Erichs, man, they lived in Denton. They lived on the other side of the lake from me back in the 80s. They grew up in Denton, or actually not in Denton, but in what's that little town? It's almost in Denton, but they had a little ranch up there right across the lake from us.
Okay.
But I can tell you some stories off air that I know personally from my brother. So anyway,
nice.
There were shenanigans. With all of them.
Yeah. You don't have to watch too much video to kind of guess what kind of things they were on back in the 80s.
I know, to bounce off the floor like they did, as much as they did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's on everybody else's mind? We've been kind of just yapping away. Y'all have anything y'all want to share tonight?
I got in kind of late. Sounds like I kind of missed something good.
It's all good, man.
What was the first thing you heard?
When everybody needs to show up to Grand Lodge this year and that kind of thing. I was like, oh God, what happened?
Nothing yet.
So nothing has happened yet, but there are things being planned, and we need to show up. And it is for sure that there are things being planned right now.
There are evil forces at work.
I wouldn't say evil. I'd say just forces. There's opposite forces. I'm not.
What's opposite of good?
I don't really believe in evil.
Oh, okay.
I think there's just good and bad. There's happy and sad.
There are bad forces at work.
There's forces on the spectrum.
We won't say good and evil, but if we were like Jedi, they'd be like Sith.
Yeah,
dark side.
If you don't believe in evil, how do you explain Dr. Evil? I'm just asking.
Right.
Dr. Bad.
Yes.
Dr. Bad.
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Not Good.
But anyways, yeah, that's it's funny that it's tried to be done in the background, but it always comes. You're right when you made that the cream rises to the top. It always does.
Yeah.
You know, they try to do it to where nobody knows, but then we already know.
Yeah.
So people need to show up. Democracy needs to prevail. Whichever way it does, democracy needs to prevail.
Yeah.
So what did y'all think about that St. Albans video? I've heard good things from a lot of people. The one with Pete Norman. Who knew that he could be good on a podcast?
That video is close to. Let me check again because last time I checked, it was really close. We got 441 views on that. It'll probably hit 500 before you know it.
I listened to it.
Just talking to him on the phone or talking to him in person, it's like a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You learn so much. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brad.
Oh, no, that's okay.
You're right.
Yeah, I was saying I heard it on the Apple podcast because I was just driving and I was listening to it on there, and it kind of blew me away when he was talking about how they even enter the lodge.
Yes.
Like a parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I was like, man, why don't we do that?
Everything's as special as you make it, and it's as mundane as you make it. Right? If you make it just as mundane as walking in, talking, and BSing around and just sit wherever, and that's all it is. But if you make it elaborate and there's a ritual to it, there's a ceremony, a procedure, then it becomes special. It's just how special do you want everything to be when you go there? I like the idea. I think it's a good idea.
Being a member there, it really does set the tone when you line up and you're walking in. It really sets the mood and sets a tone for, okay, this is special. That's one of the things that I noticed whenever I first visited St. Albans was, okay, this is very special.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, not just a go in and find a seat. No, there's a method to it, and there's a procedure. And it's a solemn, it's solemn.
Yeah.
Which is how it should be.
Ideally, there should be a way to do everything. Sorry, Dennis. I didn't mean to talk at the same time as you.
I was just going to say, I plan on coming and visiting more, and, I'd love to be a member, but I won't be able to be there like y'all would want me to be as a member. But I'm going to come and visit more and get and really get a good understanding of exactly how it's done, so that, because I was talking to Brad Hoff earlier today, or we were texting back and forth, and I've been looking at maybe looking at a non-boundaries lodge to form that could meet quarterly and really do masonry exactly how I want it to be done.
Yeah.
But find other people who want it to be done exactly how I want it to be done also, and you know, put together a lodge that wants to do it exactly how we want it to be done, and with like-minded brothers, and yeah, because I think Pete was right on the money that it's so difficult to change a culture. Now we definitely want to help the lodges we're members of now, but some of them, they're just never going to get to where we really want to be. Yeah. So in that manner, let's create this thing that's going to be a best practices lodge like St. Albans. And follow that.
I've spoke to other brothers that mentioned something very similar, and I think that might be, and I think a lot of it was spurred by that episode, right? A lot of people started thinking, but I've been hearing that a lot recently. A lot of different, granted, thinking and doing are two different things, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot of people pursuing that very soon, just because, like you say, even if nobody really wants to take over a lodge, right? They don't want to get 20 like-minded guys and go to a dying lodge and take it over, right? I think as Masons, we're pretty universally, not all of us, but a lot of us are kind of opposed to something like that. But that's pretty much what you have to do if you want to take over an existing lodge and change the culture, or just get those same number of brothers and work on reconstituting a lodge or something like that, and moving forward that way with the culture in mind from the start.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking, and we could make Masons, but it'll be Masons that we know that have approached us, or it won't be Masons that it will be people we know that approached us, so that we can make sure that the desire for Freemasonry will match what our desire for Freemasonry is before we let them in the doors. Yeah. If they're not, we can send them to a regular lodge.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want regular Freemasonry, go to a regular lodge.
So here we go.
Yep.
Here we go, Brad. Here's the birth of it right now. So now we are officially in planning stages.
Yeah, man. If
there's any of you brothers that are diehard listeners of ours that are always on the show with us, reach out to us, and I'm not saying for sure that this is even going to happen, but we will need to have enough people to do it, to be able to do it if we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to consider being a part of something like that, and no holds bars, you know,
lost you for a second. No holds barred. What?
Huh?
You said no holds barred, and then we lost you. I assume something about a cage fight.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the country. It's you know what happens on what is that, what's that fight show, that movie
that you don't talk about?
Fight Club. What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club.
You just broke the first rule.
Yeah, you just broke the first rule.
Exactly right. You don't talk about exactly. So, anyways, if something like that tickles your fancy, then let us know. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. There's a lot that needs to be contemplated. We need to have some conversations with some grand officers and see what can be done. Well, so there's conversations that have to be done. But if y'all are interested, if y'all are diehard listeners, the thought of having something that's a quarterly no boundaries lodge, then
What do you mean when you say no boundaries?
that it'll be from people from all over Texas.
Got you. Oh, okay. I see what you're
It's
saying.
this jurisdiction. It's just this jurisdiction, and we'll probably have to have one location as our actual address, right?
Yeah.
But have it to where it can be we can meet at different locations for our meetings.
That'd be cool. I like that. Speaking of Pete Norman, by the way, we had a conversation with Pete after the recording, and I think it's safe to say there'll be a part 2, maybe a part 3, because Pete has some
on different
topics. Yeah. Well, we assume, but for sure this one topic is different, and it's going to be a good one. So he'll be back eventually.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
for
pretty
sure.
amazing how I'm still a new Mason, so I'm still kind of learning and still drinking from the fire hose, so to speak. I thought it was really interesting how he said they have 3 business meetings a year. Not every meeting is a business meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of those business meetings are to the DDGM visit, and one is just a boring, mundane business meeting.
Yeah.
I guess it's more of a planning meeting, so to speak.
Well,
But I would think that you would have to be pretty well organized to be able to, have just that many business meetings. You'd have to have real well organization of it.
we've
That way
said
you wouldn't have to spend each meeting talking about business.
We've said it before. If Grand Lodge for some reason came down and said you could only have 4 meetings a year, you can only meet quarterly, you would still have your quarterly meetings and you would still take care of business. You would just be sure that, hey, when we meet, we have to be sure that this is ready to talk about, this is ready to talk about, this is ready to talk about. We can't have all these committing of the whole conversations during our lodge or anything like that. And you're right, because so many lodges do that, where they just sit and have the whole conversation in lodge and nothing's ready to go. There's no agenda or anything like that. Yeah, that'd be really hard to do 4 times a year on a punctual basis and have the conversations. However, like you pointed out, if you are intentional, if you're plannable, if you utilize your committees, if you utilize parliamentary procedure, then you can absolutely do all the business you have to cover 3-4 times a year, however many times you need to, and spend the rest of your year having non-stated meetings that are actually providing value to, because you have to have business, right? You're an organization, you have to have business meetings. That doesn't mean every meeting you have has to be a business meeting. You could still have called meetings and things like that and actually provide the value that you promised these people when they came to your doorstep, which you will not provide with a business meeting. I'm sorry.
Well, and when you don't have a building or anything like that, it makes business a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to not have a building and to have and to, for all practical purposes, create a table lodge. And though that's not allowed right now, I think in Texas, that's in essence what I would want it to be, is basically a table lodge to where we just float from place to place. We pay rent for that night, and that's all we owe to that lodge, and those are the bills. And we have no other bills except for that, and then the rest is just planning where we're going to meet and have our discussions and stuff like that.
Interesting. And they don't have to be stated meetings. Like you said, they could be, we're going to have a called meeting at such and such place. And it's not necessarily like you gavel or anything like that. So that could open the door to some interesting dinners and things like that within the laws of Grand Lodge, Texas, of course.
yeah, we gotta figure it out with Grand Lodge what we can and cannot do, because I do not want to break the law in any way, shape, or form. I'm not here to change Freemasonry. I want to experience a different part of Freemasonry that used to happen on a regular occurrence that no longer happens, and I just want to experience that and have that opportunity. If it fails and falls on its face, then it fails. But I want to experience it and see if we can bring it back.
You say you don't want to change Freemasonry, but then again, Freemasonry we have here is very different than what they have south of the border, or what they have in Louisiana, or Pennsylvania, or something like that. We're just playing within the rules. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
American Freemasonry is an innovation of its own.
That's exactly right. Yes, and in all reality, the fact that we are like a boys' club came from England. When the first Grand Lodge was formed, that's what happened. Is it made it more of a to do than a thing that was meant for transformation and internal reflection. And in my opinion, that is truth. Did I lose y'all again?
Well, I was just gonna say it's anyone can do masonry on his own, but it's always better in the company of like-minded brethren. And that's the important key.
Oh yeah.
When you do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like the talk that I'm going to give up in Roy City when it's my turn. We are a brotherhood, make no mistake, and we need to work within the confines of a brotherhood, and not just on our own, but as a brotherhood that helps each other to find transformation. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it all began to have those sort of brethren in your lodge. It all begins on how well you guard your West Gate. And that's even not just a petitioner. That's for anybody affiliating.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and beyond that, let's fast forward, and the practices that y'all put in place at St. Albans, it prepares you internally so that you can share that external experience. And man, I have seen the light. I have started studying on this stuff, and since that talk with Pete, and I have seen the light that you guys are doing it right. And if lodges are not preparing themselves, how are they going to be able to properly prepare the initiate? That's all I'm going to give y'all. That's it. That's the big taste that you're going to get of my talk.
I remember the first time I visited there, after the meeting, before we went to dinner, Pete goes, "Well, what'd you think?" And I told him, I was like, "Well, it's good to see what Freemasonry should be."
Yes.
That's all I had to say.
I agree. Because when you're focused, when you're so focused with all your senses in the moment, those external forces are no longer present in what the business of the night is. In my opinion, it's just like waking up in the morning and doing meditation or something like that, getting yourself ready for the day. It's the same kind of thing, or reading a book or what have you, getting yourself ready for the day. And those external forces that usually cause people to fail become less and less of a value of a burden, and less and less of of a factor as you move forward in your day, because you prepared yourself internally for that external experience. Does that make sense? That's kind of how I feel like y'all do with St. Albans, is that, you know, it's almost like you're going into another reality and just focusing on Freemasonry.
Well, Brother Norman, you know, whenever he was when you guys were interviewing him, he talked about how he even joined Masonry. He prepared himself internally before he even like joined it, by reading all those books and like buying all those books that he was, every time he was in some kind of little bookstore, he would find a book and read it. And that was before you could buy on Amazon and everything.
He had already read more books about Freemasonry than most Freemasons at that point.
Right.
He was very knowledgeable.
But, you know, not to keep talking about Pete, so I would like to say all the members of St. Albans are of like mind, and they are pushing Freemasonry forward in a real transformative way, and I just say kudos to you all, because you wouldn't still be around if it wasn't working.
How far is College Station from where you live, Dennis? How many hours? Is
3 hours. I can tell you that for a fact.
3 hours? It's about 2 hours from where I live.
It's a cool drive. I enjoy it.
Oh, I really enjoy that drive.
Even at 3 a.m.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's pretty countryside. It's flat, but it's not ugly by any means. It's nice. And when you get into Aggie country, I mean, it gets a little more maroon than I would like, but it's still.
Well, our drive into College Station is has a little more hills and winding roads. I kind of enjoy it.
That could be fun. It's a nice area. I like it out there. Good brothers.
It's a little windy, but not too bad. You just gotta watch when you go through Giddings to make sure you don't get pulled over by the PD of it.
Yep.
Cool. Well,
Josh, I'm going to try to go to that Golden Trial thing in November at your lodge for Roy Burris.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I was, sitting here. I went to church this morning, and I sat behind the computer from about noon to about 6 p.m. tonight doing stuff online and getting things ready. And so, but yeah, that Golden Trial we're going to do for Roy is, we're pretty excited about that. You know, he's pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I won't be there. It really means a lot to me, but I've already had that stuff in Washington and New Mexico planned, and so I've got to be there.
Well, and like I told you the other day, is we can't please everybody. You know, we're gonna do what we can do, and that was a date that worked for him and what he wanted to do. So.
Oh, absolutely, and with the ideas that I have, then along with what can be done, I think it'll still be awesome.
Yeah,
it'll actually be cooler than a lot of them that I've ever seen, I think.
Oh yeah, no, if the idea you pulled off, where you were telling me about, gets pulled off and comes to fruition, he's gonna. He doesn't watch this podcast, I know, so I can say this. He's gonna cry like a baby. I know he will.
Yes.
He will thoroughly enjoy it. When I was, one of my favorite moments was when I got to tell him that he got it, because we voted on everything while he was out of town, and when I told him, I mean, there's not many times you can tell that there's not many times that brother is speechless, but he was speechless on the phone. I told him. So yeah, but no, I was able. That's what I was doing today. I was, we got a couple different speakers coming up. We got Rhett Moore's going to do his letter presentation in November, and then Chris Ryland's going to do a re-obligation program in December here in Goliad. So yeah, we got a couple events coming up in Goliad that I think will be good for everybody. So it's all on Facebook. You just got to like the event. Now that I've got the Facebook page squared away.
Nice. I'm glad you did.
Yeah. Actually, I got to set it the right way so I can do everything off my phone now. I don't have to log into my computer and do everything.
Right. So. Yes. Good. Believe me, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I figured out who it was. Cope who had the phone number, by the way, Dennis. But yeah, the other thing we were working on, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I haven't even told Dennis about it yet, is we have in Goliad we have what's called Scare in the Square, and so we have it the Saturday before Halloween, and pass out candy and everything. And last year we've done this 3 years in a row now. So last year we did a scavenger hunt for the kids, and we had a hoverboard for our grand prize, and we're going to do that again this year. But what we're going to add this year, the brainchild of myself, Brother Burris, and Brother Carney, is we're going to do an amazing race style deal for the adults. I've been working on ChatGPT has been a great help today. So I've been working on riddles and challenges and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get that worked out. But yeah, that's something we had coming up too. So that's pretty cool.
Man, that sounds like fun. You know, brothers out there, if you're wondering how to, put a little bit of life into your lodge, it's stuff like this, taking advantage of what's already going on in your community and just being a part. That's all you got to do is just be a part. If that's the direction your lodge wants to go, then if you're looking for a way to be seen, then just be a part and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell you what, if you
awesome.
have a lodge like on the square, if you want to be seen, have fun with it, and make some money, topless car wash. Get all the brothers out there, no shirts, a big old bucket of sudsy water, and whenever someone stops at the lot, you attack that car. You're on that car, you're washing it, and they have to pay you to leave them alone. There you go.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh my gosh.
We wanted Dennis to head that committee and fundraiser up, but he declined it. So I mean, it's just like, I don't know what to do now.
Give him some scotch. He'll do it.
I mean, honestly, that's what we're doing. Exactly what Dennis said. That's what we're doing. Is any of the events that the community has, we're just going and having fun. Whether it's passing out candy or just hanging out and just making sure everybody realizes we're here and what we do. I mean, like I said, when we did that back to school drive, I mean, we had 6 people signed up for scholarships, which is 2 more than we had actually applied for last year. So it's like, just getting out there and let people know who we are is the biggest thing over here. So,
nice.
Like I said, I have big aspirations for Goliad, and so far they're working out. So we'll see what happens as we continue through the year.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the way things are going in Goliad. That's for sure.
Keep hearing good things out of it. Well, let's jump to our final thoughts and wrap it up.
Okay, I'll let everybody else go. Well, first, before we do, let's look online. Do you have anything that really needs to be touched on? Has anybody said or asked anything?
Nope. Actually, it got pretty quiet maybe about half an hour ago. We got 3 viewers. We hadn't had any comments in a while.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, our inner circle, go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'll put it in our final thoughts.
Oh, Zachary's Brother Hayes is still there. He just made a comment. He says possible correction. Yes. He just like last minute possible correction. We may have ticked above Ohio, making us number 2 in the U.S. at least at the end of the last year. Of course, UGLE, Brazil, and possibly France and Canada still have more. So that's what I love about that guy. He'll give you some data, and then you could tell like he thinks about it, because he comes back.
He's churning.
He starts churning,
Yes.
and he'll like dive into it. That's probably what he's been doing for the last 45 minutes, looking into the data.
I know. That's why he hadn't talked. He's been
Because it's
digging.
amazing.
Do what?
I would,
Yes.
yeah. He just sees data, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy the way he looks at everything.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, brother. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Anyone here in the inner circle?
Anything going on?
So, like the Lexington degree next weekend is going to be fun, and then the speaker event at Roy City. We have to start at around 12:30, arriving and getting into the lodge. We'll have to kind of start out and do our thing, and then we'll break for lunch a little bit into it. I'm gonna have some lunch for everybody, and then the OES chapter meets at our lodge that morning, and they have their grand deputy whatever comes in and meets that morning, and so we have to kind of start around 12:30. So we'll all just kind of file right into the lodge room, and they'll be in the kitchen area. There's not a lot of parking around the actual building, but there is a lot of like places to park within 50 yards of the building, like all around downtown Roy City and over by the railroad tracks and all that.
Could you imagine filling up the downtown area with cars for your event? That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. Everybody would be like, "What's going on down here?"
Exactly.
I don't see anybody. They're all in the building.
Are y'all set up for PowerPoint presentations? Would that be a problem?
I've got a screen, and I've been thinking about trying to get up there and mount the projector. This is something new that we started this year, so.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got a screen
Cool.
that we can use.
Nice. Awesome.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything else they want to add?
Yeah, I'll just real quick and kind of reiterate what Dennis said at the beginning of the cast is that, last night we went to the festival board. It was pretty fun. It's the first one I ever been to, so it was a unique experience for me. So, but it was really cool to see everybody get together and have fun and all that kind of stuff. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. And on our 2-hour trip home from Houston last night, Brother Burris and I were contemplating how we can bring one to Goliad. So there may or may not be a festival board in the future here for Goliad. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, like I said earlier today, I was working on a bunch of stuff. So I put a bunch of events on Texas Freemasonry for what we got coming up in Goliad. We've got speakers lined up for pretty much the whole year, except for a couple months when we got the DDGM coming in and stuff like that. So be looking for that kind of stuff. But we've got a couple cool presentations coming to Goliad. So if you're interested, come on down and enjoy the fellowship. And there is a specific location right around the corner from the bar that we can enjoy some libations right around the corner, and we usually go there. So. But yeah, we got a lot of things going on here in Goliad that I'm happy to have. So
Nice, man. That's awesome. Little old Goliad, not so humble anymore. Got some good stuff going on. I love that.
The thriving metropolis of Goliad.
Nice. Anyone else have anything? Well, I'll just say, as always, thank y'all for taking time out of your Sunday to come on to the show. And also thank you all and all of the other Inner Circle for your continued support. We do have some pretty big things coming up. I don't know if Dennis is going to talk about it here in a little bit or not, but we do. We've got some pretty exciting things coming up. So if you are in the Inner Circle, we appreciate you. Be sure you stay in the Inner Circle so you can participate in what Dennis is going to talk about. And if you like what Dennis talks about here in a little bit, you need to be sure and sign up for the Inner Circle, because it's just talk to people who went to it last year. I'll just say that, and you will not. You'll hear great things. Other than that, we got to be sure that we show up in force, in numbers, and make we made our feelings and our opinions known in January, but we need to be sure that we make it known that it was not a passing phase. It wasn't just a spur of the moment decision on our part. Like, this is, we showed up because it was what we believed, and we need to show up again to be sure that people understand that we came for a reason. We spoke our mind, and we stand by the decisions we made in January. But other than that, thank each and every one of you again for coming. Thank all of the people that watch this. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing the video. And we'll see you again soon. What do you got, Dennis?
All right. So to reiterate what Justin is saying, first and foremost, I want to say that we hit 15,000 viewers, subscribers, and we're extremely proud about that. It's triple what we started out as together. You know, Justin had already built up a following, and then when I jumped on with him, we have now tripled those numbers in the past 3 years, and that's something to be excited about. I really believe that, you know, having those kind of numbers in just such a short period is really positive, and I'm grateful for everyone that has made that possible. That it gives us a reason to keep going. Inner Circle, you are cordially invited to the second annual Masonic Improvement Dinner at the Grand Lodge of Texas on Thursday night at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Now,
just so that you know, we have the hospitality suite, the Newberry Hospitality Suite, to go and visit with brothers with some fellowship before our dinner. And that starts at 5, and then you can come over to the dinner, and we'll have our dinner. And we really closed it out last year. We closed out the restaurant with just our dinner. And so our dinner last year had 50 people. We already have 50 people that have asked to be able to come back and to be a part of it this year already in just 2 days. When we announced it on Texas Freemasons, it took 2 days to fill those seats already. Now, our Inner Circle members, you have priority. We have other guests that we care about, that we want to bring, but you have priority because you're Inner Circle. So if you're not Inner Circle, then you probably ought to become Inner Circle, and that means you become a subscribing member that supports us with even the lowest amount of financial support on YouTube. That's what is an actual Inner Circle member. The Inner Circle dinner, it extends beyond just the Inner Circle members. However, they have priority, so seating is not guaranteed for anyone. People are starting to go ahead and tell us, we've got an Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to go through there, and we're going to decide exactly who gets to go. And it's not going to be anybody that we do not know and trust, because when we have our conversations in our dinners, they are our conversations. They are not for anyone else's ears. They do not leave the room, and they are private in nature. So that's what you're getting, is the best in Freemasonry experience, being able to express however you feel about the topics that we'll be discussing during the dinner. We'll have a guest speaker. We have our own bar inside of our room. They like us so much that they give us our own bar. They accommodate us any way that they can because they love the attendance that we bring to the table. And this year we will probably double that attendance. And but again, this is for the inner circle members and for their experience, and so they have priority. That's the big announcement, is that in January, the Thursday night before elections, we have our dinner. And other people have expressed to me that when they sat in the room and looked around at all the people that were in that room, that were shakers and movers in Texas Freemasonry, they realized that they were in the right place.
Yeah.
That they couldn't have been in a better place at that very moment. And they said they walked away hoping that they would get the same experience again this year.
Yeah.
In fact, I had several people ask through the year, and I said, no, I'm not looking at doing it. I'm not looking at doing it. And then finally we just broke down, and Justin and I decided, you know what? We're going to do it.
I kept hearing the same thing too. Yeah. I think we've kind of felt obligated, but it's worth it. It's so awesome. Yeah.
I know. So, that's the biggest thing. And we have certain, like I said, we have certain people that are special guests that will be attending that you'll be glad to see. We're going to have a speaker, our own bar. It's the Resolution 9 bar. And I still want to call it the same thing. It's our Resolution 9 bar. And it's there just for you. We have our own bartender that will be in our room all night just for us. We have our own wait staff that will be in our room just for us, waiting and watching what we do, and not going around smoking a cigarette and then coming back in later. They're standing there waiting for to serve your needs. That's the kind of dinner you're going to be a part of, is having the very finest food, the very finest wait staff, the very finest bartenders, and the very finest company that you could have in Freemasonry. So I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to see this into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's just another benefit of coming to Grand Lodge, is being able to be a part of some of the brightest minds in Texas speaking, because this is a dinner of rhetoric. We all take turns, almost in parliamentary style. We all take turns discussing the topic. The speaker will speak, and then everyone gets an opportunity to stand up and speak if they would like to, and have their own opinions known, so that we can all contemplate the different thoughts of our different members, and become wiser together as we leave the venue. And during that time, there will be a moment, and I discussed this with Dave during their pub crawl. They pass us during their pub crawl, and we will hear the bagpipes coming when they start to come by. And during that time, we're going to pause. We're all going to raise our glass to the pub crawl, and they're going to be looking through the window as they walk by, and it's just going to be a cool moment to see those two paths cross right
nice
there
flex.
At that moment. Yes, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. But so we got all these events going on in Waco, so that whatever tickles your fancy. If you can't afford the dinner, I get it. You can probably afford the pub crawl, and the hospitality suite is free. That's from 5 to 7. But so there's plenty of fun moments of fellowship to enjoy while you're in Waco this year. Royce City, I am so excited about this. So excited about this. This topic that we're covering, it's the internal and the external. People always have this great debate over the internal and the external, and we are going to be showing exactly why both are important, and why both need to be on our minds and consciences at all times when we are going through this journey called life. That is very exciting to me. This is one of the highlights of Texas Freemasonry for me. Brothers, we got secretary schools that are fixing to start. There's one on the 28th of September that I'm going to be at. that I hope everybody goes to that can. It's going to be in Houston, and I will definitely see you there. We've got the degree on the Lexington that's going to happen, and it's okay if you don't have dinner plans with the Grand Master's banquet. That's okay, because a lot of us won't, and we still show up for the degree, and then afterwards we're all going to get together and visit and have some good Freemasonry afterwards, right there on the beach. Let's see, the MWSA 1614 or 6414 combined meeting with the candidate forum, probably the most important in our state this year, is happening this year on October 23rd. And you will need to be watching on Facebook, because it's going to be broadcast live on Facebook for all of our Masons to see in at least Texas that I know of, and then possibly more, probably worldwide. This is the kind of transparency that every Grand Lodge ought to have for their candidates for any position in Masonry. Brothers, we are going through a transformation, but it's not a change in Freemasonry. All we're doing is we are bringing back some practices that occurred over the years, and we want to try them again. It's almost like if you do something in Lodge and fail, maybe you just had the wrong person doing it. Maybe you had the wrong person in charge. Maybe 3 years from now, you've got a different culture in your Lodge, and that thing's going to succeed like it never would have any other time.
Yep.
That's what we're doing now. We're trying to bring back best in practice ideas and ideals to Texas Freemasonry. We're not trying to diminish any of the tenets. We're actually trying to bring back a lot of the things that people have to join appendant bodies to get. So we're trying to bring back the brotherhood experience with the idea of enlightenment and transformation at the heart of all that we do. That being said, I think this was a great show, and I know that it was a lot of talking about the importance of getting to Grand Lodge, but I think that we touched on some videos that were really cool that we had. If anybody is ever interested, my favorite video still is the one that we did with Robert Park, where he said, you can talk about shit all you want to, but if you never do anything with it, it's just intellectual masturbation. And that has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yes, that has always stuck with me, and I love it. And I will say it and say it again, that's why we do what we do, because we don't want to be just talk. Our inner circle members are the same way. They're not just talk. If you heard Josh and what he's doing, you know that Goliad is not just talk. They're all about it. If you saw the video with Pete Norman and St. Albans, you know that the one that Brother Bratson belongs to is not all talk. They are doing Freemasonry, and as well as all the rest of our inner circle members. Every one of them are impacting. Brad Hoff is doing a fabulous job over in Royce City. Every one of our inner circle members are actually shakers and movers in their own way, in their own area, and making Freemasonry better for the membership. They're putting themselves out there to be better for the membership. Zach Haston gives us data. I wanted to say data, and I said data. I said data. He gives us data. He gives us data on all the stuff that we all want to know about. And when we find out that data, we can do something with it and try and figure out a new way to do our business. You like that? I come from a long line of it. I'm allowed to.
What in tarnation are you doing?
What in tarnation? Propane and propane accessories.
So,
anyways.
Dang it, Dennis.
Exactly. So I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a great night, and every one of our members of our inner circle brings something unique to the table, and that's the beauty of Freemasonry. We all bring something unique to the table. We have different perspectives, and we can all learn from each other, and through each other, we all become better men for our families, for society, and for ourselves and our connection to God. So, with that being said, we love you, brothers. Thank you so much for your support, and keep it between the points.
Bye, everybody. Thank y'all for coming.